This video demonstrates how I recorded the practical process behind how I achieved my final makeup look, which was used for both my magazine front cover and poster. Overall, the makeup application took 54 minutes and 12 seconds. To begin my makeup process, I started with the forehead bruising. To do this, I used 2 pressed eyeshadow shades, 1 grey and 1 charcoal, to create a nice foundation for the rest of the layers. I made sure to blend this thoroughly using an eyeshadow brush and my fingertips. I continued using the shadow and shading down to the right of her ear, following her bone structure to keep a natural effect. To make sure the colours blended evenly, I used 2 eyeshadow brushes when applying the grey and charcoal pressed shadow. Throughout this step, I blended with my fingertips and reapplied using the brushes to make sure the skin was completely covered. I then used a large round tip, bronzing and powder brush to smooth the first layer. I repeated the application and smoothed several times to avoid any gaps or parts which could have been missed or worn away. The next step was to use a black face paint crayon to create scratches in darker parts of the bruises, which helped keep the makeup look 3-dimensional and realistic under the strong studio lighting. Again, using my fingertips, I blended the crayon and perfected with a cotton bud. I then repeated the process using a red face paint crayon to create the fresh looking parts to the bruises and give it the effect of being punched. I used a cotton bud to blend this into the black and make the bruising appear to have a lump formation or light swelling. I repeated this a few times before moving on to using a brush to blend the crayon near the centre of her forehead. Using my fingers, a cotton bud and a brush, I blended the black and red colours together over the pressed shadows to form the deepest part of the bruising. I then covered this with a red lipstick to give it a wet blood look and create the source of the cuts. I traced this along the hairline and began blending it into her scalp for a matted and realistic finish. I used my fingers and a cotton bud to keep the consistency even, avoiding any lumps in the makeup. I also had to make sure it was setting close to the skin to avoid any melting under the studio lights. I then used a blue face paint crayon to create the purple tones to the bruise, which indicates a healing process and some of the wounds being old. I was able to blend this into the red and black to create a light shade to the bone structure. I moved on to a pink face crayon to make the swelling look fresh. Again, blending with a cotton bud and my fingers to graduate the colour into the purple tones. After this, I began to use more red face paint and lipstick to go over the bruises and give it more of a raw look. I spread this across her forehead using a slanted brush and smudged it with my fingers. For the main bruise on the centre of the forehead, I used the slanted eyeshadow brush to create a circular shape above the right brow line. I used a mix of lilac and charcoal pressed shadows to create the colour I wanted and smudged it with grey in between the blending. I used my fingers and red lipstick to add more depth and darker colour. I then faded into the centre of the circle using a cotton bud. I used more red lipstick over the side of the face and applied more shadow colours over the top. This was to make sure the colours were visible under the lighting and didn't appear too weak when shooting. Here I added more blending with a cotton bud, this time with a rose tint of pink Vaseline over the top to make sure the makeup set with a wet look coating. This meant that the camera could pick up the shadows and contours of the face under the lights to create a dramatic shadow effect, conventional with horror posters and magazines. It also gave the blood a sticky look, as if it was midway between fresh and dry. I blended this all together with my fingers and a large eyeshadow brush before using the powder brush to set it in place. I used a cotton bud to neaten any bits that had come out of place and give it a softer, more natural finish. The next step was contouring. This was a crucial stage in my makeup process as I needed to create shadows using Emma's bone structure. To do this, I used a white face paint crayon and drew on lines of the areas that I wanted to highlight and bring forward on camera. I focused on the cheekbones, eyes, nose and chin. I then blended and repeated using my fingers and a slanted precision sponge, which had 4 different sizes for application or blending style. I made sure to cover the whole face in white and keep applying over the main focus areas. Emma's fair skin tone is already very light, so this took a lot of layers to give it a noticeable ghostly appearance. The eyes, mouth and nose area needed to be whitened, as these were the reddest parts of the face. I used a white mascara and blended with a sponge to create a fair lip colour. It dried to create a chapped and sore look to the lips. I then emphasised this with a white face paint crayon. The chin was important to create suitable shadows as well as under the eyes, so I had to make sure that I applied lots of layers to these areas before lightening the eyebrows with the white mascara. I then went over these with the white face paint and sponge to give it a smooth, closely look. I used the mascara in any areas which showed up as blotchy or darker than the rest of the complexion. Final touches before moving on to the eyes, which I decorated with the white mascara to give the lashes a greyish pale colour. I then used charcoal and purple brush shadows on the lids to give them a shallow and sunken look. I used the eyeshadow brush and cotton bud to blend and smooth their appearance. I then went around the eye area, particularly under the eyes, to remove any falling eyeshadow dust and go over this with a white face paint ground. I wanted to create a strong contrast between the brow bone, inner eye and the lid, so I applied a few layers of white face paint to show up against the dark lids. I filled in any gaps using the appropriate tools before reblending and finishing the tweaks with a white face crown and sponge, and that is how I created my makeup design. I think my makeup look is both effective and subtle, which fulfilled my intentions. It also worked perfectly with my chosen lighting concept for my photo shoot.